Okay, everybody, welcome to Connect Women Innovators, the pitch competition designed to bring together leading journalists from some of the most innovative startups led by female entrepreneurs. My name is Jim Glade, and I'm a principal at Publicize, which is a PR firm for growth stage companies. And I'm also joined today by my colleague, Salome Muriel, who's the events director here at Publicize. We're really pleased to be joined today by a host of leading journalists who report on the fields of startups, technology, and business. And we're equally privileged to host 6 very exciting female founders as they pitch their ventures to these distinguished media judges. We'll go ahead and introduce our media panel first. So judges, when I read your bio, if you wouldn't mind coming online and just saying hi so we could put a face to a bio. First up, we're very privileged to have today Jennifer Kingston, who is the chief correspondent at What's Next, a leading newsletter that reports on innovation and the future of technology for Axios, which is one of the United States' largest digital news outlets with over 20 million monthly readers and nearly 7 million newsletter subscribers. Before joining Axios, Jennifer spent 13 years at the New York Times, where she was an assignment editor on multiple desks, including business, science, and national news for the newspaper of record. Jennifer, thank you so much for being with us today and taking time.
Great to be here. Thanks so much, Jim.
It's our pleasure. Also very happy to host Linnea Algren, who is a senior editor at The Next Web, a news and events company owned by the Financial Times. Their flagship the Next Web conference draws thousands, and it'll be held actually this June in Amsterdam. And for those in Europe, you'll be able to see Linnea there. Linnea is responsible for editing reporters and contributors to the Next Web, and she also frequently writes about clean tech, artificial intelligence, and the politics of technology. Before becoming a journalist, Linnea was a researcher for the Swedish Institute of International Affairs. Linnea, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Also, we have with us today Jim Norton, who is the technology editor at the Daily Mail, the highest circulating British daily newspaper, which reaches millions of monthly readers. Having covered some of the most influential technology companies of our generation, Jim was also shortlisted for Science and Technology Journalist of the Year at the 2022 Press Awards. He's helped uncover police misconduct on social media and revealed how a camera combined with complex AI was being ready to tackle the problem of British motorists using their phones while driving. And that's just one of many different investigations. So Jim, really, really pleased to have you here with us as well, sir. Thanks. We might have lost Jim there for a second. Also with us, I'm very honored to introduce Navanita Sachdev. She is the editor of The Tech Panda, one of the leading technology news publications from India. She's also a regular contributor to the Hindustan Times, which is India's second largest newspaper with a readership of over 35 million. Covering everything from fintech to AI to gaming, Navanita's work has also appeared in the Indian Express, the Business Standard, Entrepreneur Magazine, and many others. We're really pleased to have you here with us today. Navanita, thank you for joining.
Thanks, Jim. It's always a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you as well. And I'm really happy to introduce these next 2 folks who are colleagues of mine. Sofia Caro, she's a regular contributor to Pulso, which is Colombia's largest digital news outlet. She also writes for Social Geek, which is a leading Latin American technology blog. And she's a senior account executive here with us at Publicize. So Sophia, we're really happy to have you here.
Thank you, Jim. Also excited to be here.
It's our pleasure. And also another colleague of ours, Verushka Bonafina, is a contributor to Entrepreneur Magazine in Espanol, the Spanish language version of one of the world's most popular business magazines. She's also a contributor to Forbes Centro America, which covers business and news across Latin American region. She's a colleague of ours, of course, and a vice president at Publicize, and she also serves on the advisory board at the Bogota Post, which is the largest English language newspaper based here in Colombia. So Varushka, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Jim. I'm very excited to meet all the female innovators.
Awesome, Mariska. Well, again, thank you to all of our media judges today for taking the time. We're really excited to have you, and we're looking forward to your valuable insights as well. Let's go ahead and start the pitch competition. Just a reminder to the startups, after each pitch, we will be opening up for comments and questions from 2 or 3 journalists, and then we'll bring on the next startup as well. I will be timing you. We'll go for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds this time, since we have a bit more time. So first up, we're really pleased to invite to the screen Ana Laguna, who is the co-founder of Dream. Anna, give me 1 second and I will pass you the presenter role.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now, Anna.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah, it's loading. There we go. Now I see it.
Okay.
And whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer, Anna.
Okay, so let's go. So, well, hello everybody. I'm Ana Laguna. I'm co-founder and chief scientist of Soundream. But even most important, I'm mom of 3 wonderful kids that are basically the reason of this project. But today I'm here as an entrepreneur in order to help parents and clinicians all around the world using cry as a vocal biomarker, supporting the assessment of the well-being and health status of the children all around the world. Well, actually, as a mom, I can understand very well the feeling of bringing a kid into the world. No, since the very first moment that you are pregnant, you start feeling different mixed feelings. No, you are happy but nervous, but you experience anxiety. But the main concern is my baby okay? No, and this stress reach his peak when the newborn starts crying. No. Which is normal actually, because actually cry conveys, well, actually it's the first intent humans used to communicate, and is considered a sign, is considered a symptom, and is considered a signal evidencing the needs, emotion, and health status of the infant. No? So we often cry, we often ask ourselves why my baby is crying. No? And this is actually the goal of Soundream. Soundream using artificial intelligence and sound processing in order to better understand the needs and emotions of the babies, to engage, to support the engagement with the caregivers, but also is trying to use cry as a vocal biomarker in order to support clinicians on the early detection of specific pathologies and neurological disorders such as autism. No? So this is a journey that started a long time ago with my own kids, but we get into the health part when we realized that in our databases there were some outliers, some infants that they were crying differently, and then we realized that they were having neurological issues. No, so actually, thanks to that, we focus on not only well-being but also on the health part of the infants, and we collaborate with the top institutions, clinical institutions, and hospitals around the world, and carry on solid scientific research in order to develop a non-invasive monitoring technology to be used at home, with the purpose of trying to have a window of early intervention during the first months of life that definitely can improve and change the life of the infants and the families. So, well, basically, this is how it works. No, it detects a cry, translates it, and it provides feedbacks to the families. And in the meantime, pediatrician can also receive the information. And this is an example of our technology that is already a reality. It's already on the market, because it's a scalable software solution that can be embedded in any third party's devices, where parents in the future they could pay for a subscription, and we will be present in 2024 in more than 40 countries all around the world. No? So this is a reality. So do not hesitate. Let's meet us, and we will change the future of the neonatology together.
Wow, very cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that presentation. It was a great presentation as well, Anna. It's not easy to start off, but you did great. And I'm really curious to learn, and maybe there'll be some more questions, but I'm really curious to learn as well, kind of how the AI understands what the baby needs, and we'll go from there. So if anybody wants to start off with a question or a comment for Anna.
Sure,
Jennifer.
I can.
Oh,
Go ahead, Jennifer. Go ahead.
Thanks. Anna, what an incredibly appealing product and idea. Who doesn't want to know exactly, is the baby hungry? Is the baby upset? And if it can truly flag any medical or developmental problems early, what a great service that would be. One quick suggestion, and I feel like a rat even saying this because I know English isn't your first language. I would slow down when I present. It went a little quickly and was a little bit hard to follow just from a presentation standpoint, so maybe a little slower. I did want to ask you about the science behind your products and research. I will say here up front, I once wrote an article about scientists who had a cat collar that they claimed could tell how your cat was feeling because they had analyzed so many cat meows and sounds. And it wasn't a joke. Now, obviously, this is human language and we're talking about babies, so the comparison is inapt. But I do want to know more about, I would love to, feel that the science behind this is sound, where it's coming from, where the scientific credentials are in your team, and what stage you are at in terms of your research on how effective your work is.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. So let me try to explain a little bit. Sorry because I was not looking at the chronometer, so I tried to go very quickly. So sorry. But the thing is, actually, we wanted to prove that what we are doing is science, and in order to do that, what we did is we are running clinical studies with several hospitals where, at the same time that we record the cries of the infant, we record also other biomarkers. And more specifically, we are recording electroencephalograms, as you can see in the image here. We are recording oxygenation on the brain and also on the body, together with hair ratio, facial expression, and body movement. So the combination of this multimodal approach, the combination of all those metrics, let us confirm that what we are analyzing is not just based on acoustics, and is much more than that, because we also see the activation of angry in the brain, how the oxygenation is affected, how the hair ratio is affected. So what we are trying to do with those initial 2 papers, but there are more ongoing, is exactly to do that, actually, to prove that there are much more than acoustics, and that our algorithms are built together with those clinical institutions, labeled together with them and all the families, to again, we listened to too many cries from infants all around the world, so we were sure that it was not just based on acoustics. It was sure that they were much more than that, and those studies confirms that. So they were received like very, very. The neonatologists and the pediatrics and so on, they received that very enthusiastically. We also presented in neonatology conferences and so on, and we even had like the platform presentation that is like a very honor presentation on the conferences. So we are very glad to be able to share this with the world.
What's your background? Did you come to this through science?
Yeah, actually, I'm data scientist. I've been working all my life on data analyst, even though before it was not really cries, but there were other signals, and at the end is the same, no? And within our team, we also have neuroscientists, we work with psychologists, pediatricians, neonatologists, etc.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for your question, and Anna as well for your response. I know, Linnea, I think you had a question.
No, I had the same question actually about the data behind it. So I got the responses that I needed there.
Okay,
I have
great.
a question, Jim.
Yeah, please go ahead, Sophia, and then I think Verushka.
Of course, Anna, I was gonna say that I really liked your idea. I feel like for a lot of first-time mothers, I'm not a mother myself, but I have seen with friends and people around that being a first-time mother, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's really solving a problem for them 100%. So especially when they do not have help around at home or if they are in another country, I feel like it's something that it's really impacting them. So I appreciate that on your end. I did want to ask you, how much is the product? Like a bit more about yeah, like the price point and so on.
Yeah, how much is the price, no? You mean of the product?
Yes.
So I mentioned before, actually, what we develop is software on the cloud. Let me go to the slide that can be embedded in any hardware, actually. So the thing is, our first partner is Maxicosi, as you can see here. And the product is fixed by the product is fixed by the partner. Is Dore Juvenile, Maxicosi. So they are already in Europe, in United States, etc. But they are the ones fixing the price, no? How to say? The thing is that all their products will appear very soon, not only with Maxicosi, but potentially also with other partners very soon. But this is the one that is already in the market since the end of the year. And this one cost $200.
Okay, thank you.
And Varushka for the final question.
Yes. Well, Anna, excellent product. I think I would agree with Sophia. I mean, I think this definitely tackles a problem for first-time moms. Well, I think for any mother that's going through that first time with their baby, how can I translate what the baby is saying? How is it communicating with me? So congratulations for that idea. My question again was about, I mean, to kind of understand from the user's perspective, right? So I purchase this device. How does it work? I mean, I have it placed in the baby's room, or do I have to locate it somewhere specific at certain distance so I can capture the baby's cry? I mean, I want to know how it works for the user, in this case, for the mother.
So our software can be embedded in any device having a microphone. So in this case, this is a baby monitor, but it could also be embedded in a bassinet or in a trolley or in whatever any other home device that you could have around. No, so the most important thing is that it doesn't even need to be very close to the baby because it has pretty good amplitude. So it listens to the baby and it translates the cries. So depending on the device, you can receive the notification on your phone or also on this unit, no, on the parent unit. This is the case of the baby monitor. You use it like a standard baby monitor in this case. For the vaccine, the same. You will probably have an app, and you will receive that on your phone. So most of the partners have already apps that they are connected to their devices because they are smart devices. So most of the time, if you want, you can receive it via phone. And for me, it's pretty useful, to be honest. But probably there will be families that they just want to use the parent unit. No, this is up to the consumer actually.
Alrighty, Anna. Well, thank you very much for your presentation, and thanks for starting us off with something super interesting as well. So congratulations on what you've built so far.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring up Angelica next. Angelica Pimentel, who's the founder of Point. Forgive me if I killed it again, Angelica.
Point without the T.
All right, Point. Angelica, give me 1 second. I'll pass you the presenter role.
Okay.
All right, you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Awesome, we can see you now.
You can all see it, right?
Yep, we can see you and hear you loud and clear too. So whenever you're ready, Angelica, I'll start the timer.
Okay, all set. Ready to go. Hello, everybody. My name is Angelica Pimentel, and I am the CEO and founder of Point. or as I like also to introduce myself, I am, okay, I don't think it's, okay. Okay, I'm a mother founder, as I like to call myself as well. I've been around over 20 years in 2 countries, and in 2015, I was mother. So with motherhood came lots of pains. I took some of them, and I've created Point, an award-winning startup already present in almost 3 countries with a community over 50,000 families, and aiming to expand internationally this year as well. But let's back up a little bit, and let's try to find more about those pains I got. What pain Point is trying to solve. So Point, I'm sorry, this is not working the way it's supposed to be. I'm trying, okay. So what is the pain? What is the pain we're trying to solve in Point? We are the first digital native moms and dads. We are family first, and we value quality time. That is, values have changed, but I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, but solutions have not followed. So today, 98% of parents still need for smarter solution and more practical solutions for their life with children. I think, okay. So what is out there? What is out there? What is our benchmark? We have a lot of players all around the world. We have a lot of generalized technology solutions, and we also have a lot of content solutions, but not specialized technology for children. In Spain, we have very few players. We have some players in the United States and UK as well, but not as much in Spain. And nobody does exactly quite what Point does today. So what we have today is that, I apologize, I don't know what's happening. If you can really pause, I'll try to do it another way, just to make sure it's working. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, Angelica.
I'll try to do that way if it works better. Okay, that's better. That's better. Okay, I apologize. So, so not even Google Maps. In fact, Google Maps was my first inspiration and my first pain, because when you enter, for example, and to go, you want to know if you can go with your kid, on 1-year kid or a 2-year-old kid with to Prado Museum. All you can find is this: good for kids. What does that mean? So come on, I've tried to find some other child-friendly place, for example, Disney World, and we have the same thing. Good for kids. What does that mean? Do I have diaper changer or not? So as of today, technology is not designed for parents, and what's designed for parents, it's not technology. So this is Point. I am a map, then a platform that maps the entire city according to each children's age and accessibility needs. We cover everything from activities to restaurants, from hotels to museums, or summer camps or service, and we generate data to build more inclusive cities, thanks to our over 50,000 family community. As well, you see, we can cover everything from entertainment to hotels. This is a $1 trillion market. 80% of millennials will be parents this decade, with an estimated global buying power of 1.8 trillion euros. We have the highest engagement in the market and the highest recommendation. And we have 3 solutions for parents, for businesses, and for cities. For families, we have the web, and we are transforming into an app. For families, we also have Anna, which is an AI bot that serves for free at WhatsApp. For business, we have solutions for booking and advertising. And for cities, we have circular intelligence. We can collect data thanks to the participation of families. We can collect data to build more inclusive and more sustainable cities.
And
so
time.
We have over, sorry.
Sorry, Angelica, I have to cut you off for the time. I apologize. I know you had a little bit of technical difficulties at the start.
No problem.
But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions as well, where
Right.
we could get some of those gaps answered. So we'll go ahead and we'll switch now over to the media panel. If anybody would like to start us off, I see a hand raised. If we can start with Jim and then Jennifer and then Barushka. Jim, please go ahead, sir.
Hi there, Angelica. I thought that was really interesting. Great pitch. Shame we didn't get to the end of it. Appreciate it. You had some problems. What I want to know is how's it all filled in? Are we talking businesses have to do it, or is it consumers? And how long is that going to take? I mean, so London, for example, you've got a lot of people who would be interested in this, but it's obviously going to take a while to get all these reviews, etc., explain what's good for kids. I'm just wondering how, what the timeline is for this, and who you're expecting as the main people to sort of fill in the gaps as to what is good for kids.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. That's an excellent question. In fact, UK is our next target market. The way we do it, the way we have structured the business, we can scale it quite quickly. In fact, we have already over 500 places mapped with funnel of conversion with business all set in the UK, in London more specifically. That is thanks to our partnerships with lots of international players such as Booking.com, Ticketmaster, Get Your Guides, etc., etc., etc. We can curate lots of content and massively upload it to our platform according to our criteria, because that criteria, the child-friendly feature, is an algorithm that is already set. All we have to do is to curate it and put it into work in our platform. I don't know if that answers your question. No? Yes?
I think it does. I think he's on mute. I saw a thumbs up though.
Sorry, it does. I think it's a wonderful idea. That does answer it. I would love to chat to you after in a bit more detail if that's possible. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Jim. We'll go ahead with Jennifer.
Angelica, this is such a great product. I so wish it had existed when my kids were little. I
get that a lot.
I tried to kind of replicate this myself by Googling not only child-friendly things, but also stuff to do on the weekends, which you could crowdsource. I don't know if you're already doing that. I am going to give you a little tough love here, Angelica. That was, even technical difficulties aside, a terrible pitch. You need to start with telling us what your product is. The need for it is pretty obvious. It's not like you have to go through some reason why people need a guide for children, places to go with kids. So I would start with your "this is point" slide. I don't know if you're planning, well, it sounds like you're going to the UK, so you will be going to English language countries. I don't know, you might want to reconsider the name. Point is a little tough. I don't know if that's a language translation issue, but I know it's point without the T. It's still a little, I don't know, that's maybe just me. So do you have crowdsourcing options? Is this like one of those mommy chat boards where people can go and say, hey, we went to this exhibit and the kids loved it or whatever? Is that part of it, or do you do all the research?
Thank you for your feedback. No, it's not like a parent Yelp. It would be something like that. I'm not trying to substitute Yelp or even Google Maps. I'm trying to collect very objective data, not subjective. Parents can review places, but I'm looking for mapping and rating places. This algorithm we built based on very specific criteria to measure child friendliness. So, for example, such as accessibility, for example, of diaper changer, etc., etc., etc. So it is crowdsourced, but it has to be. I wanted to give a very organized, very data-driven, and a very scalable solution more than reviews. I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, it rates things, but this is again where I think that you should probably focus your pitch on explaining exactly what it is, rather than the kind of ancillary things about what markets it served and what the backstory is and everything. I just want to know exactly what it is and does, and also, you know, what it isn't and doesn't. I know you were going to get into that more and more, but I think that to have a really basic grounding in what your site and service are before we get into, oh, and we could pool the data and we could do this with it, which, you know, are interesting things to get into. But first, I want to know exactly what the animal is before I want to know what I can do with it. But thank you very much. It's totally cool, and I'll play around with it.
Thank you so much. I think I'm used to a more I apologize, a more male audience when I have to explain more details about the pain. But thank you very much for your feedback. It's very welcoming.
Definitely, and I was gonna mention the same too. I think I could have served from the feedback as well, Angelica. I guess I didn't know the pain point existed as much, so no. But great feedback as well, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing that. And we have also real quick for Varushka and Navanita as well, if you guys want to have feedback or questions.
Yes, for sure. Angelica, you mentioned you have UK in mind next. How many cities are already mapped? That will be my first question. And second, for what I understand, it not only shows specific places for children, but maybe accessibility of places, let's say a restaurant that has the little toddler chair for them to eat, right? It's what I understand, or is it just the places for the kids?
Thank you so much for that very good question. For answering the first part of the question, we right now we are present in over 1,000 cities, mainly in Spain and Portugal. And we for UK planning, we have, as I mentioned, we have over 500 places already mapped, and I believe it's mostly in London and surroundings. We're just do a soft opening in London to see how it goes, and then expand with the participation of families. Second question, yes, we are trying to map child-friendly feature, not child-friendly places, because when you go to child-friendly places, you always go to Burger King, McDonald's, and the zoo. We're not trying to go to the zoo every weekend. We love the zoo, but we can go it every weekend. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to expand the economy, expand the urban consumption of families. So the more they get to move around, the more easy, the later we can give them this, and they won't get bored, not even you or even them. So what I'm trying to do is to measure, with the help of parents, child-friendly features anywhere, because a child is a citizen as well, and she will vote. So when we started Point, we saw a lot of platforms, similar platforms to pet-friendly platforms, where you can go to your pet, but not a child. So you have to go places where you can go with a child or not go with a child. But I don't think it's fair or even true. I think we could move around the city anywhere except casinos and cocktail bars. Okay, that's fine. That's a line. But we should go to a museum. We should understand how child-friendly is for specific ages, because age is everything. Your point size matters. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Angelica, and thanks, Varushka. And really quickly, Navanita, we have time for one last question or comment.
Yeah, actually, my question is going to be about, first of all, this is great. Again, I agree. I wish I had this product when my son was growing up. But so I wanted to know what kind of age group does it cater to? Because, for example, my son is going to turn 16 this year. So is that, would you still consider it in this product or no?
I know. We try to focus. Thank you for your question. We try to focus on children at the first ages, at the first period of childhood, above all between 0 and 6-year-old, because those are the ages they are abandoned. when we talk about cultural tourism activities in the city, they forget children are born with 0 years old. In fact, we do it's true. We did a research in 2022 and found out that 80% of entire activities of culture and tourism in Spain are not suitable for children under 8 years old. That's absurd, because children are not born with 8 years old. We have to have diaper changers and high chairs, etc., etc., etc. So I try to focus on where the really the pain hurts most. So to speak.
I get it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angelica. Sophia, my sincere apologies. We need to move on just to be short on time. But Angelica, thank you so much. And I know you had some problems with the technology there, but no worries.
I
think it's a
apologize.
really interesting what you're building. So thank you so much for sharing with us. All right, folks, we're gonna introduce our next founder to speak. We're lucky to have Andrea Bonilla, who is a founder and CEO of Bioplaster. Andrea, are you with us?
Hello, I'm here.
Hey, thanks so much for joining. I have just shared with you the screen, so you should be able to share yours.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay. So
All
I'm
right,
ready.
whenever you're ready. Okay, sounds good.
Hello, I'm Andrea Bonilla. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited. I am a material scientist from the University of Oxford and CEO of Bioplaster Research, which is a sustainable bioplastics company that is dedicated to revolutionize the packaging industry. So I am wondering if you have been to the Bahamas or Punta Cana, Tulum, any Caribbean beach lately. If so, probably you have not only seen, but also smelled the sargassum problem. Sargassum is a non-native large algae that has been blooming for more than 15 years in the Caribbean coast, inflicting great damage on ecosystems and tourism and local economies. So at Bioplaster, we are using this problem to address another very important issue, which is plastic pollution. Plastics have been around. They're quite embedded in our lives, in our production chains. So banning them without having sustainable alternatives is not viable. But in Bioplaster Research, we are turning this sargassum algae into a natural resource and a solution for industry. We have created Green Shell, which is a completely biodegradable alternative to styrofoam, and it is made from this seaweed. We can mold it into different shapes for different applications, and we have tuned it specifically for impact-absorbing packaging. We're focusing a lot in the costs because this is the main limitation of bioplastics. We are now 60% below other biodegradable materials. And we use the algae extensively. We are also crafting other biomaterials such as films for primary and tertiary packaging, plastic bags, thermoplastic materials in order to replace petroleum-based products. Currently, we have 2 letters of intent to purchase for worth $5.3 million per year. So we are looking for a seed investment round to fulfill them and to launch our first pilot plant that we can manufacture bioplastics and give a use to the sargassum algae. So if you are interested in investing or in our bioplastics, please reach out and join us in shaping a more sustainable future. Thank you.
Andrea, fantastic presentation. You might just be my new hero. Congratulations on everything you're doing. It's brilliant. Hands are already going up, so we'll hop right in. Jennifer and then Linnea. Oh, sorry, Jennifer, I think you might be on mute.
Sorry about that. That presentation was an absolute 10. Brava.
Thank you.
I really
Thank-
enjoyed it. And the pictures of the turtles are going to stay with me, believe me. So this is so cool. This is kind of like trash where you're taking stuff we want to get rid of and you're turning it into the material. Tell me what the material is and who the end users are or will be.
So we have several products. The idea is, but we are an R&D company. What I love the most is research and development. So that's what I'm trying to build with bioplastic research. So now we have several products we are developing. The first one is this like styrofoam material. We are B2B. So we manufacture the materials for other producers. We're targeting companies which have SDG strategies that want to be fulfilled with their sustainable packages. So we're working with several of these companies trying to optimize ideal materials for them. And so yes.
Great, thank you. One other little piece of feedback, which was before this session today, I went and cheated and took a look at your website. I could not pick up what it was you did from the website, and I don't know if that's a language issue or what, but for English readers, you might want to think of giving a more straightforward explanation on your homepage of we take Sargasso and turn it into blah. But thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the feedback. We'll do that. Oh, you're muted.
Oh,
James.
sorry, guys. No, I was going to say thank you so much, Jennifer. We'll go with Linnea and then Navanita.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andrea. I think it's a fantastic product that you're building. I had a couple of questions. Are you then only using sargassum as algae for your bioplastics? And also, if so, since it's heavily localized, this particular issue, are you then planning to have production situated locally, or will you be transporting the sargassum? And I guess my question with that would also be concerning the supply, and if it's the only algae you're using, if you're targeting B2B and the larger corporations, obviously they will be needing a lot of product from you. So how do you intend to solve that?
That's a really good question. So we can use other algae, brown algae specifically. That's because of the compounds we're extracting. So there is more supply. Anyway, we were actually, we have been, quantifying our life cycle assessments of our materials. So we were just doing this example. What if LG, the electronics company, would have bought all of the packaging materials they use for their televisions in 2021? They will have, if they were purchased from us, we would have only used, I think it was around 10% of the sargassum available to us that the Navy from Mexico collected that year. So there's so much sargassum, and it's an ecological problem, right? So we want to give a use to it. And if we were not to, like, if something happened and sargassum stopped arriving, all of the raw materials we are extracting are actually commercially available. These are actually other revenue streams from our business model that we can also commercialize. So we could potentially get the raw materials elsewhere, that giving us a really big potential for growth.
Okay, thank you. And as for the production with the sargassum, do you intend for that to be locally situated, or will you be transporting the sargassum instead?
So at the moment, we're focusing in the pilot plant being in Mexico. I'm based in Mexico. It will be based in Merida. And we have two ideas. We are either going to scale up after this pilot plant, or we can replicate the plant somewhere else. We're focusing in Miami, for example, that has a really big problem with sargassum as well. And there are many other countries in the Caribbean. But there's also a lot of, so it can be made in somewhere else. Like there's a lot of farming of kelp, for example, which is another kind of brown algae that is a source of the material as well. So initially, yes, localized, but then we can replicate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just a question to piggyback off Linnea. I wanted to ask, is there some sort of rights to the area where you're farming the algae, sourcing the algae? Is it like drilling, or is it more like going out and fishing? Who has the rights? How do you get the rights?
So at the moment, there's no normatives, legal normatives for the use of sargassum. There's actually a lot of help from the government because it's such a big problem that they just want to, like, there are actors collecting it and then they just throw it away in landfills because there's no use for the algae, right? So we want to change that. So at the moment, there's a lot of help, eventually probably, because it's such a nice resource, we can extract so many things out of it that it's gonna start having commercial interest. So well, we're ready for that.
Does that pose a risk as well if they legislate in a way that doesn't make it as easy for you to get it?
Yes, but it is so much algae that is gonna be very difficult. It is a really, really big problem. I cannot stress this enough. So definitely there's more of an interest from actors for someone to give a use to it that I don't think is gonna be close enough the time where this stop happening. And we can also get the raw materials from the food industry, for example, later on if needed.
Very interesting. Thank you so much. And Navanita, I'm sorry to butt in. Please go ahead with your question.
No, I'm just so happy to know you, because every time I go to a beach here and I'm like, somebody should take this stuff and recycle, and why isn't anyone doing it? You're doing it, so thank you so much. Apart from that, I was just wondering, are you competing with styrofoam? If you are, then are you able to give competitive prices to the businesses that you're catering to?
Yes. So that's one of the main limitations of bioplastics. They are way too expensive. So the market has not bloomed as it should because of this, right? So we, using the R&D approach that we are building, we are working a lot in reducing these costs down. At the moment, we are around 20% more expensive in terms of the styrofoam, more expensive. But for the films, we are 10% above, which is just the right price for people to start looking at us and being like, okay, that now this is something we can because we have such a big added value, right, of the sustainability. So so yes.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, again, Andrea, amazing what you're building. Very important as well. So congratulations on that. And thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. Next, I'm really excited to bring up as well Emily Branch, who's from Present. Emily, give me a second and I'll pass you the presenter role.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, I think you should be able to share your screen now.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep, you can see it now.
All right. I'm ready whenever you are.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Hi, my name is Emily Branch. I'm the VP of Brand Marketing at Present. Present was founded by McKinsey and Cisco executives, one of which had a prominent stutter as a child. Both realized how important communication is to business success. Communication in the enterprise is hard. Individuals don't have time or are not trained. Organizations struggle with standardization. Brand teams are susceptible to fines and copyright risk, and agencies and consultancies are really slow and expensive. At the same time, great business communication is a superpower for the enterprise. Businesses report 300 to 400 hours saved per employee with effective communication, as well as higher confidence, and execs say that it's essential for business results. Present is a communication productivity platform for enterprise teams. And we're a management consultant, a communication expert, and a brand designer, all in one at your fingertips. In our effort to democratize business communication, we have to answer the question, what makes business communication great? The answer is multidisciplinary, 6 disciplines here, and that we use to train our AI. We call it Astrid. Astrid is our AI communications assistant for the business professional. and it powers our solutions. Present is one intelligent platform for all your enterprise communication needs. With Astrid at the core, our software features include solutions like creating hyper-personalized presentations in seconds, saving 70% or more time, transforming information into brand-aligned presentations in one click, and enabling knowledge and consistency across your organization. In addition to Present Standard, we have Present Premium for our enterprise subscribers, and we also offer expert services as an add-on. We have a subscription-based business model, and we're currently serving 80 plus Fortune 2000 clients with lots of opportunities for future growth. And I want to thank you again for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. And under time as well. So congratulations there. You might have some future clients as well. I know everybody here is a big fan of the pitch presentation, so you might have some future clients on board. I see a hand go up, so we'll start with Jim, if you'd like to go, sir.
Hi, Emily. Thanks very much. That was really nicely presented, really clear. I'm just really interested in the context. So what other, are there competitors to within this market doing similar to you? You obviously have sort of, I guess, Microsoft and some of the big guns really going for sort of similar sort of stuff. So how do you set yourself apart? What's your USP?
Yeah, so firstly, we don't compete with Microsoft and Google Slides. We sit on top of them. So the output of our software is a PowerPoint slide you can download and then edit yourself and continue on there. Some of our main competitors are Tome, Beautiful.ai, and then the Copilot feature within Microsoft. But we have a lot of, because we're an all-in-one encompassing feature, no one else kind of has that, across the board, everything business communication. They may have like 2 or 3 features that we have, or, a piecemeal, options from us. But yeah, we kind of map that out all on our website too, if you want to learn more as well, because we kind of nailed down each competitor and how we compare.
That's great. Thanks very much. Yeah, that explains it nicely.
Thank you for the question.
Thanks, Jim. Jennifer, if you want to
go. Hey, great enthusiasm. You really know your stuff clearly. This is where I kind of wanted to fast forward to you to, okay, tell me what your product is and what it does. And I have to say, because I probably know less about this sector than I should, but I don't know quite what your product is and does. If I had the product, what would I do with it? Business communications is a big umbrella. Do you mean I'm writing letters? Am I writing a memo? I don't know what it does. I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, I think I was limited by the time, so I was trying to squeeze in the big picture stuff before getting into the product itself. So it is a software product primarily, powered by our AI that kind of influences the output of our product. And then we have those hands-on services of like an overnight designer as an option too. So being all in one. To answer your question about, does it mean emails? No, it is primarily geared around presentations within the business space. But we don't limit it to just presentations, because we have like things like learning modules and things that also increase confidence. We wanted to focus more on career success, business efficiency, rather than just strictly limiting ourselves to just, we do presentations better kind of thing. So.
What's the core product though? So wait,
it's a software platform.
Okay, software. Yeah. It's a AI fueled software platform that helps companies let their employees make better presentations.
Correct.
Your product? You got to say that.
Okay.
And then once I know that, you can say, and then we can educate the employees to do this, and then we can do this and this and this. But again, make me under, oh, okay, then I have a conception of it and can pin the other stuff on. Thanks.
Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jennifer. Really good point for sure. We'll go ahead with Linnea as well.
Thank you, Emily, for the presentation. It was really interesting. And I'm just wondering a little bit, because you said that there were sort of 3 stages. It was first the presentation, and then you also engaged. And from what I understand now, I think I remember that it was the educational part and the training bit. And then you're also a brand consultant?
We don't,
in a
we
way?
we don't consult brands.
No?
We take enterprise branding, which I don't know if you're probably familiar. It has lots of nuances a lot of times and rules, and that's a huge pain point for the average employee because they're doing their real job, their normal job, and then they have to learn like a 100-page document of all these design nuances, and they're not a designer. So we implement all that design guidance into our platform, onto the slides that are generated, the 35,000 plus slides that are generated. And then they can have that peace of mind that whatever they, get from our platform is already brand aligned. And if there's any discrepancies, we work directly with brand teams at those organizations as well to make sure, again, that we're getting that complete alignment. And again, just making it easier on the average employee. They don't think about it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That would be very useful for many in our organization. And then you have a modular access model, right? It was 2 tiers. So you have I don't want to call it basic because that's not what you called it, but the basic offering and then the pro offering.
Correct.
Right? And what kind of price points or what kind of price difference is there between them?
A couple $100 per year is a yearly subscription. So a couple $100 per year per subscription difference. And the main differences between the two, we noticed that actually some companies are excited about AI, want to, stick with the latest, greatest. And some companies actually are not ready for AI, or maybe in the banking industry, or, they're very suspicious, or they're just not ready to take that plunge. Or maybe they want, the standard option first, it's called Present Standard, to try it out. So that standard option does not include the AI for those customers. And then the premium has the AI features.
Okay, so then you also you mentioned that you also have people on standby.
Yes,
as
and
a feature,
that is
right?
those are the add-on. That's a third tier. That's a separate add-on, I would say. It's and those are 3 different completely separate service options you can choose from.
Okay, and are those the people who work with that, are they employed by you, or do you
No,
work
they
with
are our business
freelancers,
partner. They're our business partner. So
Okay.
as I mentioned, our company was started by Rajat Mishra. Actually, his wife owns our sort of sister company, and so we collaborate very, very closely with this other group. And it is, you can submit these requests for the overnight service. For instance, you want a hands-on designer working on your slides rather than you doing the DIY version. You can still submit that request within the platform itself, within the software platform.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Linnea. We have time for one more question from Sophia.
So Emily, yeah, I kind of agree with what Jennifer said, that at the beginning I couldn't quite understand what the product was. So something that I just popped in my mind is that maybe you could add a visual, like an image of an example or a very short video of how would a slide or a presentation very quick would look like with your product, right? And how would it compare to maybe another presentation that wouldn't use it? So I feel like that would illustrate and would help me, or people in general, have an idea of what that is. And because the nature of the product, I feel like you would completely, be aligned with it. So just as a comment.
Thank you. I appreciate that comment.
Thanks, Sophia, and Emily as well. Thank you so much for your presentation. It was great. So really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Jim.
Sure thing. All right, folks, we are at our last presenter today. I'll bring her up and then I'll go ahead and we'll actually wait after this last presenter. We'll do a quick question and answer period with the journalists. So if you guys have any questions about best practices for contacting the media, what makes a good story newsworthy to a journalist, etc. Now's a really good time to ask those questions. And it'll also give us a couple of minutes for the journalists to kind of finalize their scores as well in the scorecard as well. So think of those questions while we're also watching our next presenter. Really happy to bring up on stage Patricia Lopez, who's the CEO of MyHixel. Patricia, give me 1 second and I'll pass you the presenter role. All right. You should be able to share your screen now, Patricia, if you can still hear me.
1 sec. I'm presenting. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see. I don't think you're in the presenter mode, but we can see your screen. There might be on the right-hand side, if there's a way to share the slide.
Okay. Nope. Not sure how to, I'm not very familiar with Zoom, sorry. So I'll try.
No worries. I mean, to be honest with you, we can see pretty clearly, I think, from there. If the slides works from there, that should work just fine.
Okay, so like going ahead. Well, thank you for having me here. I'm Patricia Lopez, CEO and founder of MyHixel, a male sexual health brand, and I'm here today to talk about climax control. Well, did you know that premature ejaculation is a medical condition that occurs when men ejaculate before 3 minutes in penetrative intercourse, and that it affects 1 in 3 men worldwide? However, the 80% of those men don't seek for help. They don't even talk to a friend or seek help with a doctor because they feel ashamed, and it can provoke depression, anxiety, and even it's a cause of divorce. Instead, they go on the internet to look for solutions where they can find drug-based solutions with important side effects, or numbing creams and sprays and other kinds of options that are really not as a satisfactory solution for them. So MyHixel offer all those men a unique solution to gain control over ejaculation. It's MyHixel Control. It's a therapeutic method that combines a FDA registered medical device. It's a stimulation device that combines with a training app, which contains an 8-week program. Is cognitive behavioral therapy that has been developed by sex therapists and neurologists. And what is more important, it has been demonstrated to multiply up to 7 times the duration of male sexual encounters with no side effects. We registered our product with the FDA, we got the medical CE mark, and we have run 3 clinical trials to demonstrate its efficacy that have been published in important scientific journals. Now we have more than 35,000 happy customers. We managed to reach a $575,000 in just 40 days in our Kickstarter campaign. It was one and a half years ago. And now we are conquering Kickstarter again with a new product that addresses erectile dysfunction, and it's going to be launched officially in our website in October this year. So if you want to spread the word about the tech revolution in male sexual health, I'm happy to chat with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Great way to end us off today as well. Very interesting company and really cool products that you're making as well. So I'm sure there's questions. I know I have a couple, but we'll wait for and let the judges go first. So I see Sophia's hands up and then Jennifer.
Yeah, so Patricia, I think, in my opinion, when I saw this, I was like, this is going to help so many men in the world, just because society puts so much pressure on them. And I feel like that affects a lot of their ego. And most of it's that they're afraid to ask for help, right? They're ashamed of that. So I feel like that you're actually solving something that it's going to impact a lot of relationships as well. And I just want to say that I'm really happy to see that. And on the other hand, I wanted to ask you, like, your target market, is it the US? Are you shipping internationally? Like, how is that working right now? Or how do you foresee that in the future?
Yes, well, even if we are based in Spain, because we do have a primarily B2C model, even if we have a 30% of our incomes coming from the B2B2C, because we are selling our methodology in clinics, urology clinics, etc. The main market for us is the USA. Second is Spain. Third one is Mexico, UK, and Canada. But we are selling in more than 40 countries already, and see the future, because while we are trying to scale this business model, we are also working on all the regulatory part. So our main goal in the middle long-term strategy actually is to to be covered by insurance. So working on that, it's a huge milestone, but we have already achieved to get the medical CE mark and FDA. Now we are about to be FSA eligible in the US, which means that users can use the paycheck to buy our product. So hopefully it's in 1 year we will have access to wider market.
Thank you so much. This is amazing. Thanks.
You.
Thanks, Sophia. We'll go with Jennifer and then Linnea.
Your deadpan and highly critical delivery really amused me. I showed this product to my husband this morning and we burst out laughing. I mean, the demure demeanor, well, we're selling artificial vaginas and cock rings that we're hoping to get FDA approved, and our website talks about masturbation training. I think you can have a little bit more fun with it without belittling the problem at all. Number one. Number two, wait till teenage boys find out about this. I mean, isn't that the main market, really?
Not really. The main target audience is 25 to 40 when it comes to premature ejaculation. For erectile dysfunction is a little bit older. Actually the idea came when I was working as a head of marketing for a sex toy company. So I started seeing how other female brands in that space started to approach to health and wellness, more from a marketing and communication perspective first, but I wanted to go deeper, go to the product development and R&D, and I found out that the specialists in the field, sex therapists, urologists, so doctors, needed a technological brand or a company that could develop tools for them, because now the physical devices that we are developing connect with an app, which means that we are gathering data, of course, are encrypted and anonymized, but it is the first time that this kind of sexual performance data is being collected in an accurate and way and in real time. So this data is super useful also for doctors to better treat their patients and even to diagnose.
Let's not tell the teenage boys about that part.
Well, regarding the teenage, the thing is that the young generation now has a really easy access to porn, and it's not the best way at all to be educated. So also this summer we are going to launch in a subscription-based model within our app with educational content created for male sexual health. So hopefully we can also educate. Of course, our product is for plus 18, but still they are very young, and we could become a useful tool for them.
Thanks, Jennifer, for your comments and your questions too. And Patricia, you touched on it because that was kind of my first question. Like, what's the origin story of this? Did you go from being a librarian or something before that? And so you had a little bit of a background working in the field before, and you kind of saw a need and kind of just went after it, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So very cool.
Thank you.
Very cool. Linnea, if you want to go ahead, please.
No, thank you. Thank you, Patricia. That was a great presentation. I also think we cannot sort of overestimate the issue of male mental health in today's modern age. And sexual health is such an important part of that, and relational health as well. So thank you so much for really taking on that part of what is essentially a mental health epidemic. I wanted to ask, I had a couple of questions. First, let me ask you, I might have missed it, but what is the price point?
And in the US is $299. So it includes, of course, the training device plus the access to the 8-week therapy. In Europe is quite similar to 139.
Thank you.
Yes.
In your presentation, I don't know, is it intentional that you say empower men instead of empowerment, or are you missing a T?
Okay.
By accident. Because it is empower men, it actually works in a way, but otherwise you might want to
Yes.
add that T there as well. How many people are you today who are working on with this?
In the team, we are 15.
Okay. And that consists of, so I'm imagining you have tech stack developers, and then you have marketing people, and how big of a division is it between your sort of tech software developer staff and then the rest of the company, so to speak?
So, well, for example, we do have one urologist and 2 sex therapists that are working very close to the technical team, which is the CTO and one data science. And then the rest of the developing team is it's a third-party company. So we are working with them once we are developing features in the app or in the program. And also the part of the team is marketing and communications, because of the business model is primarily D2C, so we need to create a lot of content, and then we have also operations, because also the supply chain and stuff related to production is pretty intensive. Customer service, finance, and yes, that's the structure.
Thank you.
All righty, folks. Well, Patricia, thank you so much for another great presentation. Really appreciate you. We'll take just a couple minutes really quickly if the judges could just finalize their scores, and let me know when you guys are ready as well. Maybe if you want to just kind of raise your hand or something when you're ready as well. While we do that, I know it'll be kind of a little bit multitasking, but we'd love to open up for any specific questions that any of the founders have about media relations, about contact in the media. I know some of you folks are a little further along. Some of you have, might be just thinking now about contacting the media and sharing your story. So if anybody wants to start us off, I'm not sure, Andrea or Angelica or Anna, if anybody wants to start us off. I hate to put everybody on the spot. Patricia, I'm curious, have you guys already been reaching out to the media? Was that part of the crowdfunding push as well? Is that something that you guys tried to do?
Well, actually, we have been like a kind of intensive in our PR strategy, because unfortunately the digital marketing it's hard for us, because we do face a lot of restrictions. Thankfully, platforms such as Meta and X, Reddit recently, and now we are having conversations with TikTok. They are now allowing to run ads related to sexual health, not to sex, but to sexual health. So now we are trying to to push more in that paid marketing strategy. But until now, our main strategy has been branding, PR. So we have been working with different PR agencies in Spain, in the US, in the UK. So it's part of our strategy.
Gotcha. I'm curious, maybe for Jennifer and Linnea as well. Because it seemed like, Jennifer, you had mentioned, hey, you can kind of play around with it a little bit as well, in terms of kind of the funny aspect or the side of it. But obviously there's something very, very serious there and kind of and a big problem there to talk about as well. So I'm curious, maybe in your own personal preference on receiving a pitch like this, and maybe solely thinking in the technology sense. Maybe you're not, of course, you're not a sexology writer or a sexual health writer. So maybe it's purely in the technology sense. Like, how would you want to receive a pitch like this? Would it be more kind of light and fun with it, or more serious, or does it matter? Interested to hear.
For me, I don't like the jokey pitches. I want you to tell me what it is and what it does. I hate the pitches that go with, 4 million men around the world suffer from blah, 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 blah. I can do my, I read extensively. I know what's going on. I know the problem. I just don't know what your company is and does. Too many pitches either rely on a hyperlink to get me to go look up what you do. And then sometimes you go to the website and you can't tell. Again, first thing, I want to know what it is and what it does, or what your service is. And then I can put it in context. Thanks.
Sounds perfect, Jennifer. And you mentioned to start off right away with that, and then anything afterwards. So how much of that context do you want? Do you need in terms of a follow-up after I've told you this is exactly what my company does?
Well, not really much. I mean, brief and to the point. I don't need the research wrapper, so to speak, if you know what I mean. We put this stuff up and here's the problem and here's its size. I want to know what's the company, what's the, news, did it just go to market? How, all the who, what, when, where, why that you can provide me with. That's what I care about, not the fluff and marshmallow around it.
Gotcha. Linnea, does that kind of echo with you as well, or?
Well, I don't mind the context setting, as long as it's not too long. Actually, I quite like a sentence is fine. What I absolutely agree with there is, what's the news part? Like, why are you pitching this to me now? What happened? What's like, that needs to be quite sort of front and center. But also, like Jennifer said, a clear description of what is the product, who is it for, and why am I pitching this to you now? And I think as for a product like this, I mean, I don't enjoy either the jokey pitches or the too gimmicky pitches, or the ones that are trying to come up with something to, to differentiate them. It's the trust that the product will do that for itself. But I think for a product like this, I do appreciate the scientific basis for it, also the technical basis for it, the urologists that are behind it, etc. Like, to give it some weight, right? And to show how is this different from potential other tools that are not as seriously based, let's say, and that do not come from the same intention.
Oh, that makes sense. No, that makes sense for sure. Yeah, I don't know, Jim or Navanita, if you have any other thoughts on that as well.
I actually agree with Jennifer in one thing. When I go to a website and I don't know what they're selling, and they have all these fancy words splashed across in lovely colors, but I have no idea what they're doing. I hate it. I feel like, are they like purposefully, they want me to seem dumb or something? I often call, because I'm in tech, so there are many complicated products. I often call my husband, and just to prove that even he can't tell, because he's an engineer. So if he can't tell, that means something's wrong.
That means you gotta explain it to a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
No, for sure. No, this sounds really good. Any other questions? I think we're still finalizing a couple of scores as well. So if anybody has a question for the media panel as well, I'm not sure. Anna, Angelica, would love to hear from you guys if you have any questions or if you'd like to share anything. Not to put you on the spot, I know. Jennifer, I wanted to ask if we're almost settled for the scores.
Yeah, oh, I'm okay. I'm all set. Sorry, was I
Oh.
supposed to raise my hand? There.
No, no worries, no worries. All right, thank you. All right, cool. We'll just take 30 more seconds to ping this. But again, I wanted to before we announce the winners, I wanted to just say thank you again to our media panel. Really, they spend a lot of time every day looking into different pitches and you know and writing stories, and so for them just to take an hour and a half out of their day actually means a lot. So again, a big thank you to Jennifer Kingston, chief correspondent at What's Next from Axios. Also, Linnea Algren, who's the senior editor at The Next Web. Jim Norton, of course, the technology editor at Daily Mail. Navinita Sachdeb, who's the editor of the Tech Panda and also a contributor at Hindustan Times in India. And of course, our colleagues, Sophia Caro and Verushka Bonafina as well for being here with us. So thank you all for that. We'll go ahead and we'll announce the winners. And I want to invite everybody to unmute and please, for the winners, give a round of applause. It's really not easy to do, and they had some really good presentations and competitions here today. So first off, congratulations to everybody who presented today. First, in third place, really happy to say that Patricia Lopez, CEO of MyHixel, will be taking home third place prize. Congratulations, Patricia.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing with us. And again, really important what you're building as well. And then in second place, we have Angelica from Point. Angelica, congratulations. Really well done, Angelica, and look forward to maybe in a couple of years using your app in the US as well. And then for our winner today, coming all the way from Mexico, we're very happy to announce that it's Andrea from Bioplaster. Andrea, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm super happy. Thank you.
No, you did a fantastic job, Andrea, and you know, of course, what you're building is super important as well. So really excited to be able to continue to watch and see how you grow.
Thank you so much. It's lovely. Thank you.
All right. No, it's our pleasure. And again, I want to thank all of our media panel for sticking around and hanging out with us today. Also, I want to thank all of the startups. We'll go ahead and we'll send emails out to everybody. And if anybody would like to connect or get in touch with anybody that they saw here today, that's kind of what it's all about. And then also I want to thank my colleague Salome Muriel and also Stefania Trancoso, who worked on the back end of this and helped put this all together. So thank you guys for this as well, and hope to see you at the next Connect event. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Salome.
Bye,
Thanks,
Lily.
Thank you,
Andrea.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Andrea. Thanks, Angelica. Bye, everybody.